Well, it seems that summer has finally arrived. However, what I'm going to be doing today is preparing for autumn and winter and a little bit more seed sowing. This year we have all struggled with pests of one sort or another, as well as obviously competing with the weather. I know I keep on talking about it, but actually, even though we're at the end of July, we can still be sowing quite a few things. Now, I am going to be doing a mixture because in theory at this time of year, we should be able to direct sow outside. However, because of those ongoing pests with our snails and our slugs, moles as well have been a problem for me, as well as birds popping out of the hedge at the side of my plot and just picking apart some of my beautiful produce. I'm actually going to do a mixture. I'm going to sow quite a few things actually in the greenhouse and get them well and truly secured and growing before they come outside. But then I am also going to do some things outside as well. So the kinds of things you can be sowing at this time of year, and at the end of July we are looking at our sort of autumn and potentially going into winter cropping. If things like my pak choi, which I absolutely love, I would normally at this time of year put them outside, but they are going in the greenhouse in cells, and I am actually going to put a propagator lid over the top of it. Now, it doesn't really need that in the greenhouse because the greenhouse itself is extremely warm, but I'm just going to leave the vent on top of the propagator lid open, and it's just to stop those snails and slugs getting to it. Now, I've also got things like my swede, which I have got some swede in the ground here already, but I can see that some of those leaves have been munched. So again, they are going to be second sowings in the greenhouse. And again, this time of year, that is absolutely fine. And again, propagator lid on with that vent open, just to stop any snails and slugs. I know I do have snails and slugs actually in my greenhouse. Now, what we are now facing as well is finally we are starting to see some of those white cabbage butterflies around. Butterflies and caterpillars have been really late this year, but we got butterflies. We are going to be getting caterpillars next. So I have certainly started netting quite a few of my brassicas, but what I am going to sow outside directly in the ground, and this is chancing things a bit, is my rainbow chard. Now, I've really missed this year because usually I do have some growing all the way through the summer, but again, my early sowings and seedlings, which I put out probably around sort of March, April time, just got eaten by those very hungry birds because there just wasn't very much food for them at that time. They just attacked everything. So these are going directly in the ground, so sowing like we normally would do. I have pulled up some of my broad beans, so I have an empty space, and actually we need to be filling our spaces to help with getting more growing and actually covering that soil, which obviously helps with our water retention. Now, because I've just pulled these broad beans up, I have put some more peat-free compost down just so that some more of those nutrients can go back into the soil, because they may already be spent from the previous crop, although broad beans do actually have quite a lot of nitrogen in. So popping that down, and then I'm just going to firm it down, and then just as usual, I'm just going to create some little drills with my hand, nothing too deep, and then take these seeds and just sprinkle them as we normally would if we were sowing outside or actually sowing in the greenhouse as well. So once I've actually sprinkled these in, I'm just then going to pinch the soil over the top and pat it down. Now, I am going to obviously water these in, and then just like I have done with my other brassicas, I am going to net them. Even though there's nothing here yet, I'm not taking any chances because I have lost quite a few things. You can also be sowing beetroot at this time of year. I'm not going to sow anymore. I'm already on about my third or my fourth sowing for beetroot because again, it kept on being pinched. But actually, fingers crossed at the moment, they're looking pretty good. So July, it's a bit odd because we are harvesting things, but there is actually, as soon as we've got some space, we have space to be getting more crops in that will see us into the autumn, and also thinking about Swedes going into the winter and those gorgeous, gorgeous stews with dumplings. Gorgeous.